Hey Team Acura, Jonathan Rivers here with Acura Product Planning. I'm actually in the MDX Type S now, and I'm out on our proving ground at our winding course. And so I actually want to take the vehicle out, give you my driving impressions, and kind of talk you through some of the changes of the vehicle dynamics, the characteristics, as you cycle through the different driving dynamic modes. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start her up, and we'll hit the road. So here we are, we're taking off. We're actually in comfort mode right now. So despite being out on the proving grounds, this just lets you kind of feel the standard lightest setting for both, your steering, your suspension, and this is just really compliant. MDX Type S has air suspension, a new technology, and it makes you feel like you're floating on a cloud. I can imagine maybe in your daily commutes or just around town that this would be the perfect setting to just truly enjoy the kind of premium luxury feeling that you get from driving the car. At the same time, it's probably great with the amazing ELS Studio signature audio system as well. But we are out on the proving ground, so I do want to show you how the vehicle behaves in its more sportier settings. So we'll kind of cycle through as we go along. So still in comfort, we're coming down to a turn, so I'm going to switch into normal, and almost immediately you just feel the steering's a little bit heavier. Definitely have a little bit more throttle response, and the suspension is firmed up a little bit, just a little, not overbearing by any means, but this is kind of the standard setting, and it feels good, very compliant. It really just makes you understand the kind of performance that the car has. Clearly you're going to get more as you get into the Sport and Sport Plus driving mode. So we are going to come up on a couple more aggressive turns, so we'll do just that. Switching into Sport mode. Now, right off the bat, I noticed not only a change to the steering, but the sound. The sound kind of got really kicked in. You can hear the intake and exhaust a little bit more. Not pushing that car terribly hard yet, but definitely feels a little bit firmer. With the air suspension technology in Sport and Sport Plus settings, the vehicle's actually dropped down. It goes down roughly 15 millimeters, so the car instantly feels a little bit more focused and planted. We're coming up over another hill here, and then that'll take us back around to the straightaway. So I'm going to go into the most aggressive setting, which is Sport Plus. Now, in this case, you have to turn and hold the dynamic mode. So just like TLX Type S, there's an exclusive Sport Plus setting. And yeah, I mean, right now the meters have changed. You see boost gauge and things like that. That really shows its sporting intentions. But for me, when driving a Sport Plus, you also should change the drive for the transmission setting to Sport, changing D to S. Immediately you hear it revving up, and we're gonna give it one quick blast here. So here we go. Car sounds great. The speed is quite impressive on the straightaways. But one of the things that I really like about MDX Type S is the brakes. The brakes feel just as good, and I mean the 4-piston front Brembo calipers, I mean, they brought me down to a stop really quickly. But I mean, the way this thing handles, I mean, we're taking a pretty aggressive turn here. The car is just flat. I mean, there's no body roll. The fact that this is a very big, 3-row SUV, it's kind of remarkable. I mean, in many ways, this actually gives you the same kind of feeling you get when you were driving TLX Type S. Now, clearly it's a little bit taller and higher, but listen to that. I mean, as you're coming up over this hill and cresting, there's no lack of power. The V6 turbo, the same 355 horsepower as the TLX Type S. It really just kind of helps you power through these turns. And the torque is just so good and so down low that, I mean, you can really just kind of power through these turns. And I think one of the last things I can comment on is, together with the aggressive settings for the transmission, super handling all-wheel drive, which is standard, I mean, we're just powering through these turns, and you can feel the actual torque vectoring. It kind of pushing the vehicle around the turns. It's just a lot of fun, to be honest. So it just shows you the capability of the vehicle and how well it drives. I mean, it really is worthy of the Type S badge, despite being, again, a big SUV. In fact, the first SUV to wear this Type S badge. So I'm going to come around, do one last blast, and then stop and just kind of talk about the overall impressions of the car. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I'm obviously talking pretty quickly as we're driving through, but just to give you a highline of what I thought about the vehicle and what you and your clients can expect when they have a chance to drive the MDX Type S. So full throttle, oh, sounds great, and it rips. All right, so this is great. Let's come to a quick stop. Wow. MDX Type S, maybe one of the best performing vehicles we've ever made, especially as an SUV. The dynamic drive modes, the characteristic changes from the suspension, the steering, the throttle response are all instantly noticeable. And with that, I'm going to go for one more lap.